Hello everyone, this is Ironzaku. It's been a long time since I did a collab with a good friend of mine, the Mighty Amaymon, who you may know as someone that I do collabs with on Twitch and such. So when it came to making another tier list video for one of my personal favourite comic book properties of all time, I figured it would make sense to drag him along for this one. So, take it away.
Hello.
Hello there.
I don't know how to YouTube anymore. That's...
I mean, to be fair, it's been a pretty long time since we did the last collab with the Star Wars tier list, and look how well that went for us.
That was literally the last time I pretty much worked on a video. I didn't even work on the video, I just spoke in it.
I mean, to be fair, I was the one that edited a lot of it as well, and likely so it's going to repeat with this one. Though, to be fair, it's Batman. I think we know what's going to happen here. As you can see as well, we have the tiers from top to bottom, with Dark Knight being the top, the lowest being, of course, Batshit. So I wasn't too sure what the middle ones were going to be, so I just left them where they were from last time.
Fair. That's fair. I mean, I've never used tier lists. I never make them, so like, I wouldn't want to know. I can't speak. What's going on? I wouldn't know what to put as a thing. I'll probably just leave it as like how it is, like, you know,
yeah,
like Edtion and stuff.
Yeah, pretty much. I'm pretty sure those watching will probably imagine what the middle tiers could be if it was Batman related. So, of course, with that out of the way, I will say this quickly as well. I will include the Mighty Amaymon's Twitch channel below in the description.
Yes, follow me on Twitch because I've quit YouTube.
Pretty much.
Well, my uploads now are just basically clips from my Twitch, so yeah, I'm pretty much just a streamer now. And I haven't streamed in a while at this point at the time of this video, but yeah, I do stream on Twitch. Currently, I've been streaming Batman Arkham Knight. I couldn't think of the name of the game, man.
I mean, to be fair with your Arkham streams, I had the idea that, you know what, since I'm doing this ranking, I thought I'd drag you along for this one as well, because you were doing those as well.
I like, because Reese messaged me the other day and he was like, guess what I've got.
The Arkham games, yeah.
And he literally sent me a picture. He bought all of them. I'm like, I'm surprised because he's not a DC fan at all. He's more of a Marvel
person,
guy. But like, I was surprised. I think it was my stream that like
introduced him to like the Arkham games, yeah.
It's because they're so good. Arkham City is one of the best games ever made. I will die on this hill.
I mean, to be fair, I would gladly die on that hill as well. So with no time to waste, we'll jump into the rankings, and kind of like with the Star Wars video before, this is basically going to be a kind of video for those who have seen the following films that were released theatrically in cinemas, so spoilers potentially will be discussed for some, but I will give you like a heads up hopefully if that comes the case.
I will spoil the shit out of the Batman.
I mean, to be fair,
2022 Batman. Yes,
yeah.
I will spoil the shit out of it.
I mean,
I've seen it 4 times already. I'm gonna spoil the shit out of it.
I mean, we will get to it in time. Do not worry. It's just that we got all of this to go through as well, and some of those picks as well that you did remind me to include. So at least there's that.
Yeah.
So with that out of the way, let's begin. Okay, so starting off with a bit of 60s camp is the Batman movie that was released alongside with the 60s Adam West Batman show.
See, it's been a very long time since I watched that movie because I used to have it on DVD, and my DVD actually came with like a laser pen.
Really?
Yeah, it came with a laser pen that shined the Batman logo. It was quite cool. It was like one of the best things I had as a kid. Yeah, I can't remember too much. I do remember odd bits and pieces. I remember obviously the shark scene.
Oh,
with the shark repellent spray.
Yes, the shark repellent. I will say this right off the bat. When I saw that when I was a kid as well, for some reason I just couldn't help but laugh just because of how oddly silly it looked.
It was an inflatable shark, of course. It was, of course, it was funny. It is, and like, because I watched more of the show than the movie. Because before I went to school, I used to watch the '60s show. Because I can't remember what channel it was on, but I used to watch it before I went to school, and it was just had the classic like pow, smack or whatever.
And of course, the iconic theme tunes are like Batman.
Yeah. So
I mean, if I have to like again do the comparison to the show as well, the 60s movie was made to like coexist with the show and make it more popular than that. And it's just pure 60s camp.
It's just pure 60s. For where I'd put it, I don't know, because like I say, it's been a very long time since I've watched it. I just remember odd bits and pieces.
I mean, to be honest, same here as well. And I know we're not digging like too much into it because of the fact that, again, we haven't seen it in like a very long time. But I do have like bits and pieces here and there. But if I have to recall memory of my overall experience with this movie, would you be comfortable in either splitting the difference for either great or decent?
I'd say it's like in between. If there was an in between one, I'd put it in the in between. Yeah, I'd just whatever you want to put it in. I'm easy going.
I mean, it's not like my definitive Batman since I didn't grow up with it, so I might as well personally rip off the Band-Aid, and I would probably rank this probably in decent, just because if you're someone who's known Batman through the modern iterations, as we're going to get to later, and you go back to this, well, it's going to be very silly and campy, but if you do go in with the right mindset, I think you might get something out of it. So next up, and I'm sure you have a lot to talk about, it's the classic, the Tim Burton's 1980s Batman.
Right, where do you think this will go for me?
I mean, I'm predicting, because again, you know a lot about Batman as well, that I'm thinking that this could potentially, of course, well, it could be Dark Knight here, because, well, it's Tim Burton's Batman.
You're absolutely correct. It's going in Dark Knight for me.
I mean, same here as well, and I might as well rip off the Band-Aid as well, just put it in there. Just because of the fact that it's very iconic for me.
It's iconic for me mainly because I grew up with that one. I grew up with the Tim Burton Batman. Like I did watch a lot of like the later films like Batman Forever and Batman and Robin. Like they were like the ones I grew up with. But yeah, because I can remember I watched a lot of the Batman animated series as a kid.
Yeah,
which I've got it on Blu-ray now. It's phenomenal. It's one of the best cartoons ever made. Well, it's my personal favourite cartoon. And then you've just got that Danny Elfman
soundtrack.
Tune.
I mean, it's really amazing. And of course, Michael Keaton as Batman. Let's say that.
Jack Nicholson as Joker, though.
I mean, he was definitely amazing as well. And solid. I haven't forgotten about him. I was just saying that to see if you got a reaction to that.
Yeah.
Maybe not my personal favourite Joker iteration, but he is still solid all around.
Yes.
And I just love the overall setting of how Burton presented Gotham as well with his like visual style as well.
Yeah.
So to continue on with this, we're gonna throw in Batman Returns.
I'm putting that above 1989. I'm gonna say that's like
Dark Knight tier.
Yeah.
Funny as you read my mind because
I like Returns more than I still do. I like Returns more than 89. I mean, they're both great films, and they both deserve to be like the top. But like I'm saying, if I had to choose one, I'd choose Returns, just because of how dark and how much it fucking scared me as a kid.
I mean,
especially with the scene with when spoilers, Penguin dies, fucking Batman pretty much murders him.
Yeah.
And he's coming out of the water, and his mouth's like dripping with like black blood.
Yeah. And
that used to terrify me. And then he just fucking like just flops to the ground, and I thought that was so like fucked up as a kid. And another one where there's a woman on a roof, and Penguin releases some bats using his umbrella, making everybody think that Batman killed this woman. I'm kind of butchering the way I'm describing it, but yeah, it's that was messed up. That was messed up, bro.
I mean, plus Danny DeVito as the Penguin. Danny
DeVito as Penguin is top tier.
Top tier Penguin.
Top tier Penguin.
And because of that, I'm also personally going to put it in Dark Knight as well, just because...
I honestly thought you were going to put it in Great then, when you were... I would have slapped you, silly boy.
Don't worry, I have high opinions of almost called Dark Knight Returns then. Batman Returns, and of course, it is one of my personal favourites as well, that I would recommend watching alongside the original Burton film. So, in that case, it does make for a good marathon. So, next one is the animated theatrical movie that existed alongside with the animated series, Batman Mask of the Phantasm.
I just like Batman, okay. It's going in Dark Knight again.
Agreed. 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 I really. It's been a long time since I last seen Mask of the Phantasm, I'm going to be honest. But I still have, very good memories of it as well because, it existed alongside with the animated series. And plus, it still had, Kevin Conroy and Mark Hamill voicing the iconic characters again.
Mark Hamill's Joker is my personal favourite.
Funny you should say that because I actually think the same as well, so great minds think alike.
Yeah, he's my personal favourite. I mean, he's Luke Skywalker as well. You know what I mean?
Continuing to make ties to our last collab with the Star Wars tier list, I see.
Yeah, I mean, why not?
Considering that it's Mask of the Phantasm, I'm going to let you list up the highlights, and I'm pretty sure everyone's going to understand why.
I mean, the Phantasm character is just great.
Especially with how...
There's twists and turns in the film. I don't really want to say too much about it, because I don't want to give that one away, because it's something that you should watch if you're a Batman fan.
I definitely agree.
You don't need to watch the animated series to watch the movie. That's another good thing about it. Even though it's the same sort of thing, it's the same style. I think it existed alongside with the series as well. I think it was just a big break on the big screen, if I recall, with it being theatrically released. Yeah, well, it did come out in the cinemas. It was a last minute thing, I'm pretty sure. And it didn't do well in the cinemas, but it was... that's the thing that annoyed me as well, is the fact they didn't do well, but thankfully people are starting to notice about it over time, and if you do get the opportunity for those watching, I would strongly recommend Mask of the Phantasm. Pretty fantastic. Yeah. And just so you know, Joker is, amazing in this film as well. To be fair, it's Mark Hamill. Yeah, he just pulls it off so well. Yeah, again, our personal favourite iteration of the Joker, but we'll see how that changes as we discuss the other ones on the list. But yeah, like I said, I don't want to really spoil Mask of the Phantasm. If you're a Batman fan, you should watch it. Okay, so for our next contenders, when things started to change a bit with Batman Forever. See, that, like I said, that was a film that I grew up with. Because Jim Carrey. Who the fuck doesn't love Jim Carrey? To be fair, Jim Carrey was a solid highlight as the Riddler. Yeah. And obviously there was the behind-the-scenes stuff where him and Tommy Lee Jones, who played Two-Face, they hated each other. It's funny how you bring up Tommy Lee Jones as Two-Face, because I thought he was pretty creepy as a kid, but looking back onto it, he didn't quite, fully portray Two-Face well, because he's just more like a madman. He was more like Joker. He was trying to be Joker. I get that Two-Face is insane, but not to the point where he's meant to literally be like Joker. It's usually he acts... He has, obviously he's got two personalities, because he's got two faces. Obviously you've got Harvey Dent side, which is, obviously, he's more well-spoken and he's just more normal. Yeah, and I don't know how to pronounce it. I don't know how to, describe it properly, but... And to be fair, in the law for Harvey, he was an attorney as well at some point. Well, yeah, it was... Yeah, and then, obviously, you've got his Two-Face side, where he's more of the crazy guy who wants to, basically fuck shit up, you know what I mean? So it's... It wasn't portrayed well. I love Tommy Lee Jones as an actor. Yeah, he's a good actor, but it just didn't fit. Yeah, that's the one thing I will agree as well. I get what he was trying to do, but I think he did it for the wrong character. And don't forget, this movie was the birth of the bat nipples. Oh, God, you had to remind me of the bat nipples. And I'm fearful for what we're going to discuss when we get to the next contender, so I guess we're going to prepare ourselves for that mess. Yeah, but Batman Forever, it hasn't aged well for me anyway, because I watched that one pretty recently. It hasn't aged well for me, but I still kind of like it because of how ridiculous it is. It tried in a way to go back to some of the sillier, campier tone that you would have early on, but again with 60s Batman, at least you could look at that as a product of its time. Sorry to interrupt, but this was supposed to be a sequel to Batman Returns, you know? Yeah, what I mean? Yeah, but even though Tim Burton didn't come back for it, it was supposed to be a direct sequel to Batman Returns. I could tell as well, because with some of the visual styles in that film, you could tell that some of the aspects of those Tim Burton movies were in this as well, but it was kind of blended with a new, visual style for director Joel Schumacher. Yeah. The same guy that directed The Lost Boys. Also, I might as well say this out as well. Rest in peace, Joel Schumacher. Lost Boys is a good film. Lost Boys is a class film. Anyway, but yeah, Batman Forever. I'd probably put it in decent, because it is all right. I have a soft spot for it as well. yeah, I've got a soft spot for it. It's not the best, it's not the worst. I'd just put it in decent.
I think I might as well do so as well. And plus, I thought Val Kilmer was pretty alright for the character.
Yeah, Val Kilmer was pretty good as Batman. I quite enjoyed him as Batman.
Yeah, I think he was.
It's not like the most memorable one. I'd say he's underrated, to be honest. But like,
really,
yeah. I 100%. I think he's underrated. I think he's a good Batman.
And that we have noted. Okay, so next one. I feel like we have a lot to say, so let's rip up the Band-Aid. Batman and Robin.
Dark Knight.
All I could just say is, do you want some viewers to give us questionable looks if I dare put this in Dark Knight?
Yeah, Dark Knight.
I mean, it's the one. It's the one that almost killed Batman on the big screen. I mean,
yeah, Dark Knight. Yeah. I'm kidding. No. It is a shit film, but it is fucking class. Don't even judge me and say, "Oh, you just love Batman." Ooh.
I mean, no, I would probably objectively put it in that shit as well, just because it's a movie that has so much wrong with it, right? Like,
but it has so much right with it. Because you've got Mr. Freeze spilling out fucking puns every 2 minutes. It's great.
I mean, to be fair, it's Arnold Schwarzenegger as well, so you kind of knew what you're getting yourself into. It's just like lots of ice puns galore. And the one thing that just annoys me about this as well is how... Why the hell do Mr. Freeze and Poison Ivy want to have their goals like intertwined to take over the world, where one wants to freeze it and one wants to engulf it with plants? One of them's not going to be compatible with the other.
See, I think with the Mr. Freeze storyline in the film, they quite did it well, because that's his character. Like, his wife's frozen, and he's basically looking for a cure for her. That's why he's doing what he's doing. That was done well, but like.
Everything else,
because there's the one bit where I can always remember, because obviously I know how bad the film is. The one bit that stuck out to me was the bit where Mr. Freeze is watching his wedding video. I think it was his wedding video. Yeah, and he's just like, he's just chilling. And then there's that, and then it has to get ruined when one of his henchmen comes in. He freezes them, and he's like, "I hate it when they interrupt the movie."
Like, how inappropriate is that to break the tone with? Like, why? I mean, I might as well get this one out of the way, and I think we could all agree on this. George Clooney was painfully miscasted, and he was terrible.
And he knows it as well. That's what makes it better.
Yeah, that's the thing as well. Everyone that worked on this years later would apologize for how notoriously bad it was. Even director Joel Schumacher.
I can always remember, because I watched an interview with him, and he came out on stage and they mentioned Batman, and he goes, "Oh, I am so sorry."
I mean, to be fair, if you starred in a movie that almost killed a beloved franchise on the big screen, you would feel sorry as well.
I mean, have you seen Bane in that movie?
Yeah,
Bane is so dumb. Like, when he's putting down the icicle bombs, he's just like, "Bomb.
Bob."
Me and Kieran was sat watching this, and we were just howling the whole movie because of how good it is. No, it's one of those movies that it's so bad
that it's good.
Amazing.
Yeah, that's the only way I would recommend it, even though it's in bad shape, because of course objectively it's terrible. If you do have a couple of friends, get your beers together, and trust me, I think you'll have a great time viewing it under these lenses, because it does have some nostalgia to it, but I don't think it's going to be one that you're going to revisit a lot over time. They did Bane dirty with his first introduction.
So dirty, man.
I mean, he's just some dumb macho man. Why? I don't think we can say anything else that hasn't already been said about this movie, because of how notorious it is. But there is one good thing about it, if you are willing to hear me out on this, right?
Go for it.
If it wasn't for how bad it was, we would not have gotten our next contender, Batman Begins.
That is very true. I mean, it took a while, but yeah, we got Batman Begins.
Yeah.
You know something? It's just so good. Batman Begins is just... I'm putting it... I wouldn't say it's Dark Knight good, but...
I mean...
I'd put it in great.
I mean, I would do the same here as well, because even though it has some things that I'm not a huge fan of, I still think it's definitely one of the best introductions to this trilogy from Christopher Nolan, and plus... Christian Bale as Batman. What more could I say?
Yeah.
I mean, he does do that silly voice, but, it's Christian Bale.
That's the one thing that puts me off the trilogy is his voice. It's ridiculous. I think it's absolutely ridiculous.
I think it's fine for what it is, personally. I know you're going to hate me for this as well, because, it's just kind of oddly funny for me. It was just like, in the later movies, like, where is she?
Even when he's, like, talking to, just say Alfred, when he's in the bat suit, he'll still put the voice on. It doesn't make sense. He should just talk like Bruce Wayne when he's... But anyhow, I'm getting off track. But yeah, showing the origins of Batman was really good. But we never actually saw it properly on screen, though. It was because he got trained up by the League of Assassins and Ra's al Ghul.
Also played by Liam Neeson, who is a solid highlight.
But at the start of the film, you think Ra's al Ghul is just this bald guy, just sitting in a chair, and then it's revealed that it's Liam Neeson. But yeah, Ra's al Ghul was done really well with Liam Neeson. I think it was really great as him. Also, Scarecrow. Holy shit, Scarecrow is amazing.
Yeah, he definitely was amazing as a villain as well. Like, I do appreciate the more sort of realistic angle that Nolan was doing for his ideal Batman as well, and I think it helps with the overall tone and presentation with what he was going with his movies.
That's the best thing about the whole trilogy is how they tried to make it not like your typical superhero movie, if that makes sense. Yeah,
more grounded.
Because obviously you've got the MCU movies, which is full of CGI. I mean, don't get me wrong, these films sometimes have CGI. It's not that much, but...
Yeah, but that's what I love about these movies as well, and some of the later ones on this list, because they're more grounded, if that makes sense.
Most of it's practical. And that's what I liked about it. And, yeah, I thought it was great. I just thought the film was great.
Same. I think we all know where The Dark Knight is going to go for our next contender.
Yeah, everybody knows it. Everybody knows where to put it.
Yeah, we all know at this point. Yeah. It's one of my favourite Batman movies of all time. I'm just going to say right off the bat. For one simple reason alone that elevates it, and I think you're going to agree with me. The late Heath Ledger's portrayal of the Joker.
Yeah, aye. Heath Ledger was amazing as Joker. But yeah, I did really enjoy Dark Knight. It wasn't just his portrayal that was good, it was everything else. I thought
everything else was amazing.
People kind of overlook
was how Harvey Dent was used in the movie. That was amazing as well.
Yeah, they've done Two-Face perfect to perfection in this movie.
And he did give us one of the best lines that I always will remember. Remember in the movie, he says something along the lines of, "You either die a hero or you live long enough to see yourself become the villain." That is an amazing line.
Yeah, because it's true. You see some heroes basically live long
enough to become the villain there, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, what else can we say about The Dark Knight that hasn't already been said as well? It's pure Dark Knight theory.
The one scene that really shocked me was when Batman's thinking that he's going to save Rachel.
Oh, yeah.
There's a bomb going off. There's Harvey and there's Rachel.
Yeah.
And Joker tells him she's somewhere. So he goes to that place and it's actually Harvey.
Yeah.
And then she just fucking blows up.
And she just dies. And of course,
when I first watched that, because I really loved Batman Begins. It was even though she was recast, it still hit. It still hit. I was like, oh shit. That was really good. And obviously there was the opening scene, which I think is one of the best things in cinema. Yeah,
definitely, with that whole heist that goes on. That was just an amazing moment. Where Joker's just, in actuality, along with the robbers, says something along the lines of, "Oh no, I just killed the bus driver." And then the next thing, the bus just crashes through the wall and kills one of his henchmen.
Yeah, I thought Joker was really good in that film.
Again,
a lot of people do say, this movie is amazing because of Heath Ledger. It's got more to it. I think it's got more to it. I prefer, because I like Two-Face in the film, and
yeah. I mean, yeah, Joker was the highlight, but he wasn't the only one.
I mean, to be fair, Heath Ledger won an Oscar, didn't he, for it? So,
and sadly as well, this was one of his last roles as well before, unfortunately, passing away. So, rest in peace, Heath Ledger. You were amazing. Okay, so to conclude the Nolan trilogy, we have The Dark Knight Rises.
Right, you're not going to top Dark Knight.
Obviously, there's no way you're going to top Dark Knight. I mean, I like it, but not to the point where I would put it in Dark Knight.
I I think it's the weakest of the trilogy,
Yeah.
hands down. Because Bane was good. He had that silly voice.
I mean, yeah,
Just
but it
fucking
was like fun in a sort of memeable way. And plus, Tom Hardy did the role. He looked the part.
Well, he got shredded for that role, didn't he? He bulked up and everything, and he bulked up really quick for it.
Yeah. And at least it was one of the more better portrayals of Bane than, well, Batman and Robin.
No, Bane was amazing in that film.
Yeah, in a so bad it's good manner.
The kind of adapted Nightfall into it.
Yeah.
Where he breaks
Batman.
his back.
Yeah. That was a really solid moment that it manages to recreate as well, where Batman is literally cornered and has to fight Bane hand on hand, and then, of course, he breaks the bat.
Yeah. And also, they had Catwoman in that movie. And, like, she's good, but she's not the best Catwoman.
I mean, Anne Hathaway did what she had to. I thought she was pretty fine.
Like, my all-time favourite Catwoman is always going to be Michelle Pfeiffer.
I mean, it's Batman Returns. What do you expect? Michelle Pfeiffer's Catwoman is hard to topple. What can I say?
Yeah.
But again, with it being the weakest, but I wouldn't say it would be like a bad movie. Would we probably put it in great or decent?
To be honest, I'd probably need to rewatch it again. Because it's been a while since I watched it. But I remember liking the other two more.
Although I will say there is one thing that I can say, spoiler alert everyone, is that the one thing that kind of annoys me about it, because it's not going to happen, is how the film teases you who Robin is going to be.
Yeah.
And that never happened.
Well, it was never going to happen anyway.
Pretty much.
It was just going to be the trilogy, and then that was it.
Yeah.
You know, because they got Joseph Gordon-Levitt in.
Who I thought was pretty fun in this movie in his own right as well, so he did a pretty good job.
But yeah, I'd probably still stick Dark Knight Rises in great. I'd probably still put it in great, but it is the weakest of the three films.
Yeah, it's the weakest. Not bad, but I still enjoy it overall.
It's definitely better than Batman Forever.
Yeah,
even though I love Batman Forever, it's definitely better than it.
Oh yeah, definitely. Okay, so next one. Technically, it does have Batman as the main character, so I thought I threw that in there, and that would be Batman vs Superman: Dawn of Justice.
See, it's kind of weird with this one because I don't know where to put it.
Same here, because I mean, considering its reputation and depending on what version you watch, and with the ultimate cut and stuff, it does have its fair share of good moments.
I'll rank this based off of the 3-hour ultimate cut.
Okay.
I'd probably put the ultimate cut in decent for its Batman scenes alone.
Yeah.
Because I'm just going from Batman. Fuck Superman at the minute. We're not doing Superman. We're doing Batman.
I mean, to an extent, we might have to come back to him at some of the later ones. But I can say that remember when we all thought that Ben Affleck was going to be miscasted as Batman, but actually he was the best part of the movie.
He was one of the best. He's better than. He's one of the good Batmans. He's a good Batman. I don't know where to put him, but Ben Affleck is a really good Batman. I personally
probably
they did the voice well because they actually used like a modulator instead of using a deep gravelly voice like Christian Bale. I thought this voice was better.
Yeah,
the suit was great because it looked like Dark Knight Returns suit. This was before I read Dark Knight Returns, so like I knew of it, but I never read it.
Funny you should say Dark Knight Returns, because if I recall from the movie as well, it does have a shot in it that does kind of recreate one of the panels from Dark Knight Returns, which I thought was a good reference.
Well, yeah, there's basically the armoured suit that Batman wears is the same one that he pretty much wears in Dark Knight Returns to fight Superman.
Yeah. Although when it comes to Batman vs Superman, there was a few things that kind of annoy me about this movie, which will require me to step into some Superman territory, and I think you'll understand why. First off,
Lex Luthor.
Yeah, like, look, I don't mind Jesse Eisenberg, but why? What was he doing in that movie?
He was acting more like the Riddler than fucking Lex Luthor. Let's be honest.
Yeah, I mean, whose idea was it to cast him as Lex Luthor? I might know who, but just why? And of course, another annoying moment. I think you know where we're going with this, and I'm just going to say Martha. They both have moms named Martha. Batman has Superman dead to rights with the kryptonite spear, but stops because Superman's just like, Martha! Save Martha! And yeah, that scene's been beaten.
It has been beaten to a pulp. It makes sense why he would stop by saying Martha, but it would, like, if you're thinking logically, Superman would say save my mom. Or save my mom. It wouldn't say save Martha, it'd say save
probably if it was written by someone that was a bit more competent, but my god, that moment was just why?
It could have been done better.
Yeah.
The idea was great, but it could have.
But it was executed poorly. And of course, the one thing that we can both agree on what they've done dirty is that they fucked up my boy Doomsday.
Oh yes, they made him look like Shrek.
Not Shrek, one of those trolls from Lord of the Rings.
He looked like a butt ugly ogre.
Like, that is not my Doomsday. I mean,
if you're gonna do Doomsday, make him look like he does in Injustice.
Yeah.
Like, look at how he looks in Injustice. I have the Funko Pop of Doomsday from Injustice.
Yeah, even
nuts.
Yeah, either like some of the early comics, like Doomsday, or the Injustice one as well, because they look badass and amazing. What the hell was this monstrosity that we got in the final cut?
The fight with Batman and Superman was good. It was just ended really shit. The Batmobile class, where he just absolutely obliterates everyone with the Batmobile. That was amazing.
Yeah, that was an amazing highlight, definitely.
The fucking warehouse scene.
Yeah.
If the movie wasn't as bad as it was, it would be Dark Knight, just for that scene alone.
But because of some factors that clearly hold it back, I'm personally thinking might be either decent or worst case scenario if you're someone that was really disappointed by this movie, below average.
I'd put it in decent. Like, for its Batman stuff, I'd put it in decent, but it's like, yeah.
I think you might have convinced me and put it in decent. I know some people might give us some weird looks, but I didn't actually hate Batman and Superman as much as some
Just
people.
Remember, I'm going from the 3-hour cut. The 3-hour cut, which is much better than the theatrical.
Yeah.
Because it makes more sense.
Yeah. So yeah, as an important sign up for those watching, definitely, if you get the chance, watch the Ultimate Cut. Okay, so next up is one of DC's animated movies that surprisingly got a limited theatrical release, Batman: The Killing Joke.
Now, where do you think I'm going to put this?
I got another question. Where do you think I'm going to put this? Because, well, let's just immediately get the one thing out of the way about this movie that is just notorious. The Batgirl sections early on.
It literally takes up like 75% of the movie.
Pretty much. Like,
I get what they were doing. They were going to try and build up to the iconic scene where
Joker shoots her and that, yeah.
He shoots her, but like, yeah, it was done very poorly.
And it's just
and they made Batman and Batgirl fuck. So that's yeah.
Like, I don't know what they were thinking.
I don't think Jim's gonna be happy.
No. I mean, funny as you bring up that one scene with, the both of them literally having sex, because if I have to give like a good visual representation of what I thought when I saw this in the cinema, okay, are you ready? You know that one scene, right, from Raiders of the Lost Ark, right, where when the Ark is open and one of the Nazis' faces is melting. That is my reaction to seeing them two fuck, and I was like, why? Why?
Like, it doesn't need to be there.
It's pointless, it's filler, and it's just stupid.
But I will say, when it actually gets to the Killing Joke, because I've read the book and the book is fucking phenomenal. The movie does it justice.
Yeah, I'll give it that. When it gets to that Killing Joke adaptation, it's actually good, but it's just that early on you are forced to be with the Batgirl sections.
They needed to add that filler in because the book's pretty short. So they needed to add that filler in just to...
I mean... Yeah. I get why, just so it could be movie length, but did no one in the writer's room stop to think, wait a minute, we're making Batgirl have sex with Batman. Should we halt the brakes?
No, it doesn't make sense. Like, I'd say, like, no, it's just, no.
The more I think about it, it's painful. I mean, the Killing Joke aspect when it's adapting it, it's really entertaining. But early on,
this is why I wouldn't put it in batshit, because I'd put it below average.
Because
just for the if you want to watch Killing Joke for the Killing Joke, just fast forward until the interrogation scene, right?
Yeah, just fast forward to that.
Just fast forward to that.
Yeah, I'm going to put it in below average as well, now that I think about it.
Because the best thing about this movie is that Mark Hamill, Kevin Conroy, Tara Strong, they're all back as their characters. It's just, yeah.
I think it's just because the early sections, again, I know I'm sounding like a broken record by saying that, it just put like such a sour taste in my mouth. Like, again, I get why they had to extend it just so it could be the length of a movie, but if you wanted Batgirl to have better payoff for when the Killing Joke happens, don't white her having sex with Batman.
This is when DC animated movies started becoming a bit shit. It was after this movie. I mean, if you're gonna watch, if you're a big fan of the Injustice games, don't watch Injustice, the movie.
Yeah,
you'll
definitely.
be pissed off.
Yeah.
Yeah, they adapt it so fucking poorly.
Kind of the same to Killing Joke to an extent, but that's just because the original stuff just is poorly written. So yeah, we're just gonna leave it there. Below average for the Killing Joke. Again, only watch it when it adapts the comic book well. Just fast forward it to that.
Just fast forward it 45 minutes.
It'll save you so much pain.
Yeah.
Literally.
Yeah. Just fast forward it 45 minutes.
And now for our next contender, which will lighten things up for once, and one that you surprisingly reminded me about, the Lego Batman movie.
Yeah, because it's still a Batman movie. It's an animated Batman movie. It's still a
Batman
movie.
Yeah, it counts for something.
I mean, I'm pretty sure there's more characters than DC characters in there. But to be honest, I can't remember too much of the film. Even though I reminded you to put it in the list.
I mean, to be fair, this was like the follow-up after when he was a side character in the Lego movie, which everyone
I remember
thought...
the Lego movie very well. I remember both of them. I just can't remember too much of Lego Batman.
I mean...
I don't know why.
Isn't that weird? Okay, I will say...
It was a few years ago. I probably just need to watch it again.
I mean, it's funny you said it, because we watched it a long while ago, and I still think it's one of the more better Batman movies that we surprisingly gotten at the time period when we were stuck with like Batman vs Superman and such, which is really saying something.
Yeah, I liked how it wasn't obviously taken too seriously either.
Yeah, and of course it was surprisingly really, really funny. Like, I was laughing my head off at a lot of the jokes and the gags. But maybe because of the fact that it did have that, again, Lego charm that the last movie had. So at least that carries over well for Batman. I honestly gotta say this, right? Just not sure if I'm gonna be controversial or not, but I'm not sure if I want to put it in Dark Knight. I mean, I love it, but maybe not as much as everyone else. Actually, should I put it in Dark Knight?
No. I'd put it in Grey. It's not the best Batman. It's not one of the best Batman movies.
But it is still a fun, entertaining one, though.
Yeah.
We might get some weird looks, but for now, since, to be fair, it's been a while since we last seen this, I'll be comfortable with putting it in Great. Just because, well, again, it doesn't take itself too seriously in the best way possible. Okay, so next up, and technically this is going to be a double feature because there are two versions of the same movie, but for the first one, we're going to be looking at 2017's Justice League, or as everyone likes to jokingly call it, Justice League, in reference to the director Joss Whedon.
It's fucking shit. Put it in batshit. It's terrible.
I mean, we could probably just list off everything that was wrong with this, right? Like, again, I know it's not related to like Batman, but it's something that just majorly distracted me and everyone else. Superman's mustache.
Yeah. Even if Batman was more more in the movie, I'd still put it in batshit because he doesn't do much.
Yeah, and the funny thing is, right, because of how it was reshot as well with a lot of stuff that was going on at the time, you can clearly tell. You can tell when Ben Affleck looks a bit... I remember watching it in the
cinema and then seeing that first scene where Superman's like talking to the kid on because they're recording it from their phone. Oh my god.
Again, the only explanation for that is because of the fact that he had to keep his mustache on for one of the Mission Impossible movies he was involved with at the time, so they couldn't even cut it off, so they had to waste so much money to CGI out it.
It upsets me because Henry Cavill is a good Superman.
Yeah, he really is.
He's an amazing Superman. And obviously this is probably probably was his last film as Superman.
Probably, yeah.
But anyway, we're talking about Batman, not Superman. So fucking.
Well, to be fair, he is a major. To be fair, he is a major character in the Justice League, so I think we can make an exception and talk about some of them if we can.
Yeah, they fucked up a ton of characters in this film. Just fucking put it in bad shit.
Yeah,
the movie pisses me off.
Yeah, they even had one of the most boring villains ever with Steppenwolf, and it's a miracle, right? When we did get like the Snyder cut, that he was a much better character, because in this one he was just boring and just there because he was evil.
Yeah.
And a lot of the characters, again, like you said, were just wasted. Like, an example, I think, in this cut was how I think Flash was just wasted. Just because of the fact that...
So was Cyborg. Cyborg was wasted.
Yeah, like if they were wasted and you couldn't do much of them, why include them to begin with? I mean, the funny thing is, right, if the Snyder Cut didn't come out, right, I probably could have begged about below average, because there were some moments of fun here and there, but now we have the Snyder Cut right here. It just makes this look so much worse in comparison. And don't get me started on all the behind-the-scenes drama that was going on with this movie as well. I think we could discuss about it all day.
Yeah. With Batman and Robin, it's shit.
But at least you could have fun with it.
It's watchable, and you can have a laugh while watching it.
I mean,
this, like when you know that there's a better version of the movie out there that's 4 hours long, and is the actual fucking director that was supposed to do it in the first place, you know, I mean, don't get me wrong. Yeah, it's a fair reason why, you know, he left, because of how I believe his daughter passed away at the time, so he had to step back for family reasons. Yeah. So like, so the perfectly good reason to leave, but yeah, Joss Whedon fucked it up. When I first heard that Joss Whedon was taking over, I was excited because I really liked the first 2 Avengers movies.
And then the movie came out.
Yeah. And then the movie came out, and I was like, oh, fuck.
And I think we could spare details about what came out about him and the behind-the-scenes drama with what was going on with this movie.
Yeah, I'm not even going to get into it.
Yeah. I mean, for those watching, all I can say to give you a hint, Joss Whedon, bad person for what happened behind the scenes. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah.
Okay, next up, of course, is the better version of Justice League, Zack Snyder's Justice League.
See, before we actually get into the Snyder Cut,
alright,
the Ultimate Cut for Batman vs Superman was about, right?
Mm-hmm.
That actually introduced Steppenwolf.
Yeah.
And he had one of the fucking coolest designs I've ever seen, like, for a villain. And they fucked him up for that movie. And as soon as I saw that, I was like, I wasn't happy with it the whole time.
Yeah, Steppenwolf's design in that movie was terrible.
I fucking hated Steppenwolf. I didn't like the way he looked and how he got changed. But getting back into the Snyder Cut, they brought back that design and made him even a much better character. Not just physically, but like he's a beast, man. He's a beast in this film.
He's definitely one of the best highlights as well in comparison, because he's actually a lot more memorable, menacing, and actually has a reason for what he's doing, because he wants to redeem himself for Darkseid.
Well, yeah. Speaking of Darkseid, he's actually fucking in the film.
In the last act as well, which teases you what was going to happen next, but considering how DC is handling things right now, I don't think that's going to happen, sadly.
Well, he did have that scene where in the Justice Cut, the Joss Whedon cut, I'll say. Joss Whedon cut, he had Steppenwolf fight all of the old gods, whereas
in this one, he actually was there.
In this one, it was Darkseid. It was Darkseid that did it. Yeah, you see a Green Lantern. You see a Green Lantern in the Joss Whedon cut, but the way he loses that ring is much more brutal in Zack Snyder's, because he gets his hand cut off.
Yeah.
Darkseid's about to grab it and it flies off.
Makes me think that it would have been much better off if somehow we got that version in the first place, but, you know.
Yeah.
It is what it is. And of course, for once as well, I know it's unrelated to Batman, but, you know, Justice League, so we can stick to the theme because he's a major character. The other characters that were wasted actually were really good for once.
Oh, mate. I was so happy what they did with Cyborg. Like, Cyborg is, like, probably the best character in that movie.
one of the better ones as well. And for once, The Flash actually has some really good moments as well, especially with the finale, which one of my favorite moments in the comic book movie.
One of the best things I've seen in the superhero movie is when he's going back in time to basically save everybody. Like, he enters the Speed Force. So
just like the visuals, the music, and all. It was just a perfect moment for me personally.
Yeah, as a Justice League movie, I'd put it top tier. As a Batman movie, no.
Well, to be fair, Batman, like I said, is a major league character in that, so we can count it for now. And I think we could rank it fairly high.
I wouldn't say Dark Knight. I would not say Dark Knight. If it's for it being, I mean, yeah, Batman's got more involvement and he's more of a
better character.
Leader. He's more of a leader, and he has that. He has the extra scene. He has 2 extra scenes that they refilmed. Yeah. Well, one was in the nightmare sequence from Batman vs Superman, where he teams up with Cyborg, Flash, Mirror, Deathstroke,
and I believe
Joker.
Joker's one from 2016 Suicide Squad. Yeah.
Jared Leto's a shit Joker, but yeah.
I mean, to be fair,
I am glad they brought him back for continuity, though.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, they did kind of thankfully tone it down a bit for this one, because I'm pretty sure we all know his reputation for that movie. Although, to be fair, Jared Leto is getting kind of clowned on a bit with Morbius recently, but that's unrelated.
Yeah, I mean...
Should we just put it in great? Because it is a great movie that I do love.
I'd put it in great, just... If for its Batman things, I'd put it in great. But if it was, for Justice League, I'd put it in top tier.
Definitely. So, when it comes to the 2 cuts, as you can see, ignore the Josh Whedon cut. Just pick up the Snyder version if you can and watch it. It's definitely amazing. Although I am sad that with what it teases with Darkseid, we might not get that, considering how they're going to be rebooting some of those things.
They were actually gonna kind of adapt Injustice.
For the big screen, I would have loved that.
Yeah.
Well, assuming it's not as bad as that animated movie as well, so fingers crossed.
The animated movie absolutely sucks. I was going to buy that movie on Steelbook, and I mean, I wish I did, because of the artwork looks cool. I'd get the Steelbook and throw the disc out the window. It's fucking trash.
Yeah. Although we'll have to see how, when the later DC movies gets rebooted with the upcoming Flashpoint movie, I believe.
Yeah, so the Flash movie that's coming out next year, it was supposed to come out this year, but it's coming out next year now.
Yeah.
We're getting Michael Keaton
as Batman again, yeah.
And we're getting Ben Affleck back as Batman as well. So we're getting both of them.
Yeah, but considering the details I've heard about that and how Ezra can't help but get himself into a lot of trouble, well, we'll see how all that goes.
But yeah.
Yeah. Right. So, word of advice from me to you, viewer. Don't go around throwing chairs at women's heads. I know. Had to throw it in there. Okay, yeah. I think you can introduce the last contender for us.
So yes, we've got the Batman. Yeah. Dark Knight.
Yeah.
Definitely going Dark Knight.
It's definitely one of my personal
favorites.
favorites.
There's a reason why I went... See, best thing I had the best experience with the Batman, because I watched it... The first time I watched it, I was in Cardiff visiting Will, and... Well, I was visiting Will, and me and Kieran came down.
Yeah.
And we met up with my streamer friends, like Firefly and Gwyn.
Yeah.
And... Yeah, we all went to see the Batman. The first time I went to see it, I was kind of nodding off because we were traveling that day. It was the day we traveled down. I like I say, I watched the movie first. I did love the movie. It's probably I'd say it's my favorite Batman movie, to be honest.
In the start of a new trilogy of all things.
I'd say it's my favorite Batman because it has its horror elements with the opening scene where you see the politician
getting brutally murdered by the Riddler.
It's the scene when I first watched this scene was when he bends down to pick something up, or he bends down to answer the phone, and the room's dark.
Yeah,
and then a flash of light comes on,
and you see Riddler just hiding behind him.
You see him stand there, and he's staring, and I'm like, "That's fucked, bro." And also, then he just goes crazy with one of them carpet tuckers.
Yeah, and also, can we just say this right off the bat as well? Riddler in this movie, one of my favourite iterations, if I'm going to be honest.
Yeah.
He was amazing. Although,
I mean, Jim Carrey's a more comical Riddler, and you've got the 60s Riddler that's also comical, and it's
Yeah.
like obviously it's a cheesy thing, but they made Riddler so fucking menacing in this movie, and it's good. It's really fucking good.
Especially with how he tortures some of his victims. Like, if you recall where he had like a trap like contraction on one of his victims, it kind of like reminded me like he was going full on Jigsaw on the guy.
What I loved as well, there's a scene in the movie, like again, spoilers. This is a recent movie. If you haven't watched Batman, fucking go away. Yeah, so the scene where he's on the he goes onto the website, the Rata Ladder website.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's a bit where like he's like talking and stuff. You can actually type in that website. It's now when you go onto the website, it says it's been seized by GCPD, which I quite like. But when I finished watching the movie and I came back from Cardiff,
You literally looked at the website that was shown in the movie.
Yeah. Because I knew it was a marketing thing. I knew it was a marketing thing just from when but I didn't really go on it when it was marketed.
Right.
But it shows you the website at the end of the movie as well.
Yeah.
To say go to the website.
Yeah.
So at the time when I went on the website, it said, click for reward. So I clicked on it and I got a file, and I've got like loads of fucking crime photos and stuff, and journal, like Riddler's journal, and it's basically showing how unhinged
he is,
and crazy he gets, and like just the marketing for this movie is so good, because there's pictures of some pictures you see in the movie with I think it's that politician that dies at the beginning with a woman with a black eye.
Yeah.
You see, you get the crime photos from that. It's pretty cool, and it shows you the design, his diagrams of his quote unquote saw traps.
Yeah.
So I thought the marketing for the movie was good. The best scene, one of my favorite scenes of the movie, is when he revs up that fucking Batmobile for the first time.
Oh yeah,
I watched this movie in fucking IMAX. So that shit was so good. When I heard that shit raw, I was like, yes, give me more of that Batmobile. I want to.
I mean, to be fair, I do love the design of the Batmobile in that movie as well so much.
It's literally just a muscle car with a fucking rocket attached to it.
I mean, what more can you want? I mean, to end off with like Riddler, I did like again, spoilers. It was one of my personal favorites as well, is that when he gets interrogated at the end, and for some reason Riddler's just breaking down, and for some reason I just couldn't help but laugh because of how over the top it was, where he's like, no,
Yeah.
When Batman like tells him that you're gonna die alone and all that, he just loses his shit.
And he starts singing to him.
Yeah.
When he's saying that he's got bombs in the vans. Like, Riddler pretty much wins in this movie. That's why I like I like it, because he floods Gotham. So he fucks Gotham up.
And the one clever thing that I did like as well is that because of his actions and all that, and how Batman discovers one of his thugs says that I am vengeance, he thinks about his actions, what he's done early on to, better himself,
Another good scene was the hallway scene.
Yeah.
Most of this movie was done practically as well. I thought that was crazy.
Yeah.
Because I saw behind the scenes video of the scene where he's in the GCPD and he punches Jim Gordon, because Jim Gordon's saying you need to hit me to get out of there.
Yeah.
So he goes out and then he uses his grapple hook to go up to the roof. Obviously he's going up. It's
amazing.
Stairs. It's like a staircase bit, but he goes through the middle with the grapple hook.
Yeah.
And he zooms up and you see behind the scenes, you see the cameras and stuff, and he actually flies up the staircase with it. I thought, whoa, that's fucking nuts.
And that kind of leads into another highlight as well, depending on how you view it. Robert Pattinson's portrayal as Batman when he's in the costume. He's amazing.
Yeah.
Although, to be fair, when it comes to Bruce Wayne, he didn't quite remind me of the Fanboy Millionaire because of how emo he was at times. But, that's just me.
It made sense, though, because it's his second year as Batman in the movie, and he's not quite found that Bruce Wayne, the Bruce Wayne everybody else knows. He's not quite found that yet.
I mean, to be fair,
leaning into vengeance type thing.
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, we'll likely see him like evolve into that over time when future movies in the new trilogy will come out as well. So all I can just say is like, this is a really amazing start.
One of the funniest scenes in the movie as well was when they've captured Penguin. Penguin, by the way, done by Colin Farrell. Amazing.
Yeah, amazing Penguin.
It's just yeah. And there's the one bit where Gordon's showing him a picture of someone dead, I think. And he's like, "What are you showing me? Come on!" Yeah. And then Gordon just loses his shit. He's just like, "Open your eyes!"
That was a really solid moment as well. That was.
It was good.
Yeah, Colin Farrell's Penguin, amazing casting. I think really amazing. What else? Oh yeah, I thought Catwoman was actually pretty decent in this one as well. Truth be told.
Yeah, Zoe Kravitz was good as Catwoman. She's up there for me with Michelle Pfeiffer. She's really good. She actually reprised the role from Lego Batman because she played her in Lego Batman.
I did not realize that. My bad.
Yeah.
I mean, to be fair, it's been a long while since I've seen Lego Batman, and I had no idea.
Mm.
Well, you know what they say: the more you know.
The more you know.
Yeah, I mean, again, not my absolute favorite portrayal, but she did do pretty solid overall. And well, what else could I say about the Batman that hasn't already been said? I mean, I guess if I do have like a personal gripe, there are some moments where it does kind of drag, but that's just a gripe of mine.
Yeah, that's fair.
I mean, when it comes to the runtime, because some people have said like they would prefer like if some things were trimmed down a bit, and I can understand why, because it is a very, very long movie.
It's 3 hours long.
I mean, to be fair, I can watch a very good long movie if I feel like it's like progressing well. Again, it did. It's a good movie. Some things I would trim down a bit, you know, just for sake of time and all that, just to keep the focus. But overall, the Batman really is worthy of being in the Dark Knight tier. And my God, we've completed the list. What do you think?
Yeah, it's a decent list.
Yeah, very decent list indeed. So, again, for those watching, I will have the Mighty Amaymon linked in the description for his Twitch, so you can follow him there. And a huge thank you for all of you for tuning in and watching. And as always, I'll see you all next time. Bye-bye.